portals. Dude, there was a thing. Red Bull, like if they were their own nation, would be in. I don't know. It was like top 3 for medals.
Yeah. What do you mean Red Bull?
So like Red Bull did a thing where it was like, here are the national standings for the Winter Olympics, and then they put like Red Bull athletes in the standings.
What do you like? They would mark which ones of them are Red Bull athletes.
No, they literally like pretended Red Bull was a nation. And combined all the Red Bull sponsored athletes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they would have had like the 3rd most medals.
Yeah. But is the video working?
Yeah, it's working. Oh. I just dark it out because I'm at least like 10 to look at it.
With my buddies that were sponsored by Red Bull or still are, all their athletes have this app, and it's just like for all their athletes and like.
Yeah, I know that's the VIP.
And there's just like shit, like
you get free shit. You
like
get free trips.
It's like we were looking in the summer. My buddy, who's a skater from Norway, who's sponsored by them, fucking. It's just like, don't forget to claim your VIP tickets to Tomorrowland.
Yeah,
like, fuck it, we're going to Tomorrowland. Like, we're flying to Belgium. We became so fucking close to literally just buying tickets and just going for free to Tomorrowland. Like, we were just gonna buy like airline tickets and just show up at the festival for free. It would have been epic.
Yeah, it's a classic bucket list item. Oh yeah, what is the angle looking like right now?
Just like that.
All right.
Anyway, going back to
beautiful. Oh yeah. So, wait, should we do any
intro
or should we just jump in? Like
for this?
All right, it's fine. Okay, so I was asking Luca about. I was trying to understand the like fight or the career trajectory of a UFC fighter, like trying to understand, like what happens to some fighters, because I noticed that some of the younger, more promising fighters sometimes only get a couple fights or they go undefeated for a few fights and then they lose one fight and then they never get a shot at the title. And I was thinking that from the Cerrone fight against, what was his name?
Hernandez? Yeah.
And that dude was like 35, right?
Hernandez?
No, Cerrone.
Cerrone's like 35, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You can have a long career.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a lot of guys do. That's like a rarity. Like Cerrone's definitely like an outlier in that.
Yeah, but
he is.
So yeah,
he's sick. You should, if you can, watch the videos of his ranch. Bad motherfucker ranch. It's like his training lab out in like the desert in like New Mexico.
Yeah,
it's pretty sick. It's very cool.
So, but like one fighter in particular, I don't know too much about him, but
I don't even know.
Sage Northcutt.
Yeah.
So one thing that which I think is allures to what you were gonna say, was like he seemed like a very like poster boy type fighter. Like I think what was his nickname? Like Super
Sage Northcutt.
Super Sage, yeah, exactly. But I don't know, was he even that good of a fighter? Because like I know he had a lot of hype.
He's like legit. I want to see his record where he is now, because I don't think he's in the UFC anymore.
Come on, man. What do we got?
He signed with One Championship, which is a really good promotion. If people haven't heard One Championship, it's as good as it gets outside of the UFC. It's Singapore's fight promotion. They now have the flyweight, who I see is the best flyweight in the world, Demetrius Johnson. He was traded to them in the first ever trade in MMA history.
Trade?
Yeah, there was a trade a couple months ago, but most people hadn't heard of the two names, but they're huge legends in the sport. Demetrius Johnson was traded to One for Ben Askren. You've probably never heard of Ben Askren. Ben Askren might be one of the best fighters of our generation that no one's ever heard of, because he's only fought in one. But he's probably as dominant as we've ever seen a wrestler be in MMA, while being in a lesser promotion. And the UFC refused to sign him because he has beef with Dana. And Ben Askren, he's fucked up. He's very well spoken, and he really regularly speaks his mind on Twitter.
And that's part of the problem with him not being in the UFC.
I think he said that Dana was soft or something, or that Dana wasn't tough. Sorry, just looking for something really cool.
Dude, I just think like from a business perspective, or from like a media business, sports business perspective, like I think it's only UFC or bust. Honestly,
It is.
Like,
the
common man does not watch one championship.
That one can do really well
know?
because it's in Singapore and it's a smaller business and they're probably paying their fighters less. It's just a whole different beast.
But what are the benefits of the trade? Like, why? Why can't someone fight in one championship and then 3 months later fight in the UFC?
Oh, that's just because because those leagues have to have these contracts. So basically, what the leagues do is, at least the UFC does it this way. I imagine one does it this way, but they it's like they're like how does Uber do it again? Like, it's kind of the same structure as like.
But you can be an Uber driver and a Lyft driver at the same time.
Yeah, so they have exclusivity. They have like for a certain number of fights, and then they're free agents.
Got it.
Like
okay,
that
makes sense.
They sign with the promotion.
But yes, so I wanted also like going back to the like sort of like couple fights and then you're done.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
I mean?
Sage. So Sage like had like a bunch of fights.
Or Hernandez.
Yeah.
I mean, like. Just in general, like young, promising fighters, not.
So
ever,
his first fight in the UFC was against Francisco Trevino. He won that by TKO, and then he submitted Cody Pfister. Never heard of either of them. Brian Barberena was his next fight. Brian Barberena is like really legit fighter. He's been around forever. He's just not super well known, but he's like a tough dude, hardworking, and. Brian Barberena, if I remember that fight, definitely took damage. But in the second round, he got Sage on the ground. And he choked him out with an arm triangle.
Yeah.
Which is it's like a relative. It's not a super complex submission to get.
Okay.
It's not. It's not like
defending wise.
Defending wise, there are ways to defend. There's ways to get out of it. If you see it coming. Like, I wouldn't consider it dangerous in the way an armbar is dangerous or the way a rear naked choke is dangerous because people are really good at getting those spots. Arm triangles, you can really see someone setting it up. It comes a long way up. Then he fought Enrique Marin, won decision unanimous. Don't remember that fight. Then he lost to Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall is legit as fuck. Super high level jiu-jitsu, really good athlete. Yeah. Well, Brian Barberena is not ever going to be something. Mickey Gall might be in a contender someday if he can put on a little more weight. And then his last 3 fights in the UFC, I don't know. He won all 3.
Won all of them.
2 by decision, 1 by KO, but I don't know anything about it. But from what I heard about it, he was asking for too much money.
Okay.
Because he is a big celebrity.
Exactly. Like
he's a big personality. But the UFC can't afford to pay a fighter who is just not in upper contention. He was probably asking for like $1 million a fight. And they're just like not going to do that.
See, I thought like with the increasing popularity of the UFC, they would have more money to throw around. Do they just concentrate their money on those big prize fights?
Yeah, well, mostly. Only a few guys get paid big bucks. They don't have the money to pay everybody big bucks and give people points on pay-per-views. Like, you have to be as good as they get. The UFC just needs more Conor McGregors. It needs another Conor. Like, it needs Conor to come back really badly, and then it needs about 3 more Conors.
But that's the thing also, like going back to what we were saying about Sage, like he's a bit of a celebrity. Conor was a huge celebrity outside of the UFC. Like the persona, all that persona. Stuff.
That's why Conor.
It's pivotal. It's so important to how many pay-per-views, how many subscriptions.
People like to talk about like Ronda Rousey, like the big stars in UFC history.
Yeah,
Ronda Rousey, John Jones, Conor McGregor. It's really not that way. I don't think, at least. I see it as Conor McGregor and everybody else. Like, Conor is so much bigger of a star.
Exactly.
What's crazier is Conor lost to Khabib.
I was going to say it.
And that didn't make Khabib a star. And he jumped out of the octagon and attacked someone.
I know.
Like, he got more press than anybody.
Yeah.
Still not a star.
That's the thing, man. Like, Khabib might be a better fighter, or he is a better fighter than Conor McGregor, but he doesn't have that. He doesn't have the draw. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the charisma, like the crazy.
He's just not he's just not relatable.
Exactly. He's fucking like Iron Curtain.
Machine. I mean, like he should be a huge star in Russia.
I'm sure he is, right?
He has to be. Yeah, he has to be.
He still lives with his parents, you know.
Yeah, dude. He's a crazy fumble. I don't know where mine is all of a sudden.
Sure. So yeah, what were some of the topics also that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, we can talk about the rest of the UFC fights from this weekend because I thought I'd
sure.
What were the other interesting fights? So the Cerrone one is the best, especially since Connor tweeted out after the fight, "I'll fight you, Cerrone." He's
Wait,
like,
why?
So Cerrone said he wanted to fight McGregor.
Oh, really?
After he won, and McGregor tweeted out, "For that fight, Donald, I'll fight you. Congratulations." Period. So savage,
Yeah,
like the
because
most
he's gonna
savage
make him a
tweet.
rich man,
Congratulations. That's why my favorite Connor press conferences is when he talks about we talks about red panty night, like when he's like talking. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh my god. He goes, "When you get a fight with me, it's red panty night. You go home to your wife, you tell her, baby, we're rich.
Yeah,
Tell her we're rich. Put on the red
exactly, man.
panties, baby." Like, and he's yelling this at
Yeah,
Rafael
man.
dos Anjos, who just like
Yeah.
can't do shit. And then later in that press conference, someone asked Connor like who he thinks would give him the best fight, and some guy in the back goes, "Right here, hardest hitting 145er in the division." And Connor just turns around and goes, Who the fuck is that guy? It's so great.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But
Was that just a fan or was that a fighter? Like
a fighter. It was a
really?
fighter. Yeah. Jeremy Stevens, who will always be known as who is that guy?
That's the thing, man. He's a psycho. He's a psychopath. But I mean, like that's the question. Before like all the press conferences before the Khabib fight, I always thought like a lot of his like press conferences were performance based, like they were entertainment. But before the press leading up to the Khabib fight, he seemed like he was sort of losing it a little. He was acting a little crazy, you know. He
Who?
was drinking.
Connor? Oh yeah, dude. I saw that. That like worried me.
Yeah.
In the lead up to it, but I still bet on him because
Got to go with your gut, man.
Yeah, dude. I bought into the hype train, man. Like I wanted to buy in though. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to believe that this crazy fucking Irish dude could just go out there and boom and just sock his head off. Even though I know like how much better it is to be a grappler. Like I train jiu-jitsu, like I understand it.
Yeah. It was
and like the logic in me all said Khabib, but the party in me said Connor.
That's the thing, man. Like I don't really bet very often at all, but like when I do bet, I try to keep it away from the teams or like people I support. Like I try to separate my emotion.
Yeah, that's tough.
From gambling.
I know people who only who will always bet against the team they love, because that way if their team loses,
it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. So that way if their team loses, they make money, and if their team wins, they're not going to feel so bad about the loss.
I don't know.
I don't like that because if my team won, I'd be pissed.
It's like
it's melancholy. It's always unsatisfied.
Bittersweet.
It's only unsatisfied.
A Pyrrhic victory.
Do you like Run the Jewels?
I do. I saw them at Terminal 5.
Really? Rogan interviewed Killer Mike today. Or like yesterday.
Really?
Really good.
Yeah, I saw them at Terminal 5 with Will Adler.
He's a smart
Shout
dude.
out Will Adler.
Killer Mike's shout out Will Adler. I actually sent him a link to
the Run the Jewels?
The Killer Mike interview with Rogan.
Oh, nice.
It's very good. Like he's just an interesting dude.
Interesting life story, right?
Yeah, well, and also he just has interesting takes on things. He actually
Run the Jewels is pretty conscious.
Oh,
rap.
It's definitely deep. Conscious, right?
It's got some depth.
Dude, Killer Mike has his song Reagan. Have you ever heard his song Reagan?
Is it about the war on drugs?
Yeah, it's about the war on drugs. Yeah. That song is like crazy interesting. And like I looked up some of the stuff from that song, and it's like totally true, and you're just like,
shit. Yeah, and they make music that's hype as fuck at the same time.
Yeah, dude. One of my favorite lines from the podcast today is Killer Mike said, Rogan goes, "You make amazing workout music," and he goes, "Man, honestly, like my biggest regret is that I'm so fat. I can't work out as hard to our music as other people work out to our music." Damn. Yeah, dude, but they had a really funny conversation.
What about
really like honest?
He's from Atlanta, right?
Yeah, he's from I think he's like from might be from like Atlanta. I want to say Atlanta. I could be wrong.
A lot of rappers.
But he definitely like spent a lot of time in Atlanta if he's not from there, because he like talked about
and getting into the.
But him and T.I. are like apparently really close. He talked about how he has like a lot of business ventures with T.I.
Yeah, T.I. He's a good businessman. You know, aside from his rap skills.
I didn't know.
He was actually one of the first people to discover Travis Scott.
Really?
Yeah. And then basically Kanye West wanted to co-sign him after T.I. co-signed him. And, like, I don't know how the deal structure worked out on that. But, like, one of Travis Scott's first singles was back when he was, like, 19 with Blocka. If you remember that song.
I don't know.
I got diamonds on my Blocka. You don't know
No,
that?
no, I'm not a big Travis guy.
What?
I like him, but
Really?
his music just doesn't like. I don't know. It doesn't.
What about it?
different.
Doesn't
It's just like I don't listen.
have you heard some of his older music?
I've listened to a fair amount of his music. I'd say
Like Rodeo and Days Before Rodeo?
I listened to. I won't tell you which album it was. I listened to pretty extensively.
I feel like you would like run or not run the Pharaoh, Owl
Who are
Pharaoh,
we talking about right now? I can't remember the name.
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott.
Don't like if you go back.
Birds in the Trap.
That's album's
Sing
hype as
Tonight.
fuck. Yeah, go to
Yeah, that's good, but I just don't love it.
discography. Like a lot of his good stuff is on SoundCloud.
Really?
Like
You'd
before.
say it's older stuff?
Definitely.
I don't know.
Like I think you would like some of his older music.
I've been listening to Radiohead a lot recently.
Oh yeah, they're great, man.
Dude, Radiohead's like amazing.
Yeah, definitely like all-time greats rock band.
Do you read Pitchfork?
You know, sometimes, but like to be
It's
fair,
pretty
I think
pretentious.
it is. I think it's like a bunch of white, like liberal kids just like sitting on their computers. You know what I mean?
Trying to say what's
And
cool,
like
what's not.
deciding like what's good, what's not. You know? Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. They I like some of their
They're-
stuff is really
they're
well
well
written.
written.
Some of their
They're
stuff
well written
is
for
so
sure.
well written.
Yeah.
Like they did a review on a posthumous review on one of Peep's early EPs,
Mhm.
and I was just like blown away by it because it said everything I wish I could have said about the EP more precisely than I could ever say it. And it was like a moment of like real jealousy.
Yeah.
Actually, like reading it was like, I wish I could describe music as well as you're describing it
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I mean, another music reviewer that I go to a lot is Anthony Fantano. Do you know Anthony Fantano?
Is this like on a video?
He's probably the most
Does he do, like,
popular
YouTube?
YouTuber. But it's like similar to Pitchfork. He's a really smart guy, but he trashes a lot of albums.
Like,
Also Pitchfork, like they've rated a lot of Kid Cudi's
oh, dude,
early
I don't really
albums.
like this guy, Anthony. I've seen this guy
Yeah.
before. I think he's
Yeah.
pretty pretentious, to be
Oh,
honest.
definitely.
The way he
But he
treats
also-
the way he treats rap music is just like
Yeah, I know.
I just don't think he likes.
But he did give Die Lit a very high score, which I agree with.
I mean, I'll be honest. Maybe I'm just biased because he hated Lil Peep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he destroyed it.
Yeah, not good. Yeah. Well, you know, he has over 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube.
So he's got to be pretty
So
fucking smart.
I think you have to be pretty cocky, like to even get to that level of success and popularity. Like I think your ego is going to be pretty big.
Oh, certainly.
So,
Certainly.
by the way, going back to the Joe Rogan episodes, did you listen to Mike Tyson?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I listened to like this.
What'd you think? It was pretty short.
Oh,
but,
amazing. It was so good. Like, just to
yeah.
hear about that guy's life. And
I
just
know.
the way he talks is interesting. Like, just listening to the sound of the conversation.
Soothing.
Yeah, well, he's just so... He's lived. He's lived. Like, there are just people you listen to on that show, and you go, this person doesn't really know shit about, like, the way that the world works. And then you just listen to Mike Tyson, and you're like, fuck, this guy really gets it. He really does. He's in on
He's
stuff
seen
that
a lot.
He's seen
He's
stuff
seen a lot.
that he's seen stuff that we have not seen.
What did he say? He took acid when he was 12?
Dude, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
He was in and out of juvie as well.
That's an
Pretty
interesting
much all
life.
of his dude, he has a book of, I think he has poems. He has some
Dude,
poems.
he's a fast. That'd be a
I'd
cool
read
guy
some
to
of
talk
those.
to.
If you could interview anybody.
If I could interview anybody, who would I interview?
Yeah.
Rogan.
For 2 hours.
For Rogan,
We've got
dude,
2 hours.
the stories that Rogan has have to be amazing. Like the people he's met and talked to, like people never know. Rogan doesn't really get interviewed often. I feel like either. You never hear about him getting interviewed.
I wonder if that's because
I
he only
wanna-
wants
I'd-
to do it on his own
I'd
show.
want to
or
ask
because
what I'd
people
want to
just
ask
aren't
and what
interested?
I'd want to ask Rogan about is really interesting. I think I'd want to ask him about the one thing he never really talks about. I feel like, and that's his family. I would want to know about what his family dynamic is because
Oh,
that's the
yeah,
one
he
thing
never
he
talks
really
about
doesn't
his
share. He
family,
does not
dude.
talk about his family. I know he has 3 daughters. 2 are young, like 8, 10 years old.
Yeah,
and then
he does talk about
the
his
other one's
daughters.
like in her 20s.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense when you're that famous to like be private about that kind of
Yeah, dude. He is.
thing. But for someone who's so exposed to conversation all the time, it's impressive. That he's able
he
to-
doesn't. He's really quiet about it.
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally he'll tell stories, but they're so vague. Like they're always like so open ended that you really don't learn anything from them.
Yeah,
about his
that's
family.
true.
Like you don't understand the way that they are. They're just like totally.
I have no idea. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
I've listened to hours of it because I listen to a lot of them, especially recently. I've been listening to almost all of them.
Really,
Yeah.
dude. I don't know who I would interview. Let's say.
If not Rogan, my second choice would probably be Jonathan Franzen.
Who's that?
He's an author. He wrote a book called The Corrections. That's it's probably one or two, either number 1 or number 2 best book written this century. In like the 19 years the century's been
I
going.
don't know. I think I'd want to interview like Richard Branson
Richard Branson would be cool.
or Jay-Z.
Richard Branson, Jay-Z would be cool.
Yeah.
What would you want to talk to Jay-Z about? I don't know anything about Jay-Z, so I wouldn't know the first thing to ask him.
I would just be fascinated about his come up. You know,
To come up.
like he was selling a lot of drugs
Yeah.
before,
That's what
and
I've
I think
heard.
he just dude, the way his business acumen is real high.
Well, I actually
Like, dude, if you look at his discography, almost if not every single one has gone platinum, despite like his decreasing popularity, increasing popularity, whatever you want to say.
yeah.
He's gone platinum like over 15 times.
Yeah. I
also,
just
I
never
think-
been into his music.
I think The
No.
Rock would be pretty interesting.
The Rock would be interesting.
You know, like
I'm
going
shocked
from-
that The Rock hasn't been on Rogan. That's like shocking because Logan
Absolutely.
like gushes over The Rock. He's got like a man crush on The Rock.
Yeah, but just like, dude, he was cut from an NFL football team. And, you know, like, future earning potential after something like that can't be the greatest.
It can't. Yeah. The future earning potential of people
Cut from the NFL.
it can't be as nearly as much as he's
Most of
made.
them are addicted to pills, too.
Really?
But, yeah, from playing in all the games, like, a lot of NFL players are, yeah.
I believe.
Oh, yeah, also, didn't you want to talk about the, what's it called? The no sex challenge or whatever?
Yeah, I want to know about cold streaks, like dry.
Cold
like
streaks, dry spells.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
man.
dry
Okay.
spells.
Okay.
Um,
So, like, being involuntarily celibate?
yeah, for an extended period of time. I was wondering, what is the longest period of time that you can remember not having sex? Like since
17 years?
yeah, no, but like not including
yeah.
pre-virginity or even post like pre-virginity. Because basically
Wait,
not
so what were you?
including-
So after
after you've lost your virginity, longest dry streak.
longest dry streak. Oh man.
I don't know. Like I don't keep track of it, but I have to imagine it was like large stretches in high school, like in between, because like in high school it's not as easy to get.
Yeah.
At least for me, it wasn't as easy to get laid. Like it was not. Oh, every weekend I'm going out. No,
Yeah.
that was not my high school experience. For some people, I think it is.
I don't know. I think
Not like most people, I'd say, but there's some people.
I think I don't know. I didn't really have like a super. I mean, maybe like a couple months in high school, but it wasn't really that bad.
Yeah, you didn't care about it then. It's when you get older. You get a little older, you get to college, and you're like.
But I would say probably summer of my senior year into freshman year of college.
Oh,
Because I was so like not insecure, but like I wanted to be very like I just got into a new school and I was like, I don't want to fuck anything up with friends and whatnot. Like I don't want to like I want to be selective about who I hook up with.
Mhm.
But then like in retrospect, I just like that was kind of stupid.
The longest one
It's
for me
probably-
was the summer after my freshman year of college. Now that I'm thinking about it, I got laid once that entire summer. I was ready to. I was.
It's not good for you, man.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good. That is not what your body wants or needs.
Yeah.
Damn.
People say, use it or lose it.
Yeah,
I think that's real.
lose it.
I think that's true.
I
don't know if
but then there are those
counts.
people. Then there are those people. But okay. Then there are those people. Like who I've heard about online, talked about like on Rogan, involuntary
that's voluntary.
incels.
Incels. Yeah. Yeah.
And like, doesn't Jordan Peterson talk about them too? I don't know. Do you listen?
I don't know. It's a nasty corner.
They're like
of the
psychotic.
internet, though.
They're like insane. They believe that they like deserve. They believe that they like deserve women.
Well, dude, it's like that guy. Like a mainstream example of an incel would be the guy who murdered a bunch of kids at Santa Barbara. Do you remember that guy?
No.
He sent like. You don't remember the shooting in Santa Barbara?
Oh
It
yeah,
was like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So the guy who did that was like, he wasn't even a bad looking guy or anything. He just like probably because of his psychotic tendencies, he wasn't getting laid. And if you go to UCSB, there's a lot of beautiful women
There are a lot of
not
beautiful
wearing
women.
a lot of clothes. And like
Damn.
he posted some videos about like basically that like UCSB was a cesspool and like he doesn't understand why none of these girls want him, and then he turns it around and says like none of you girls actually deserve me, kind of shit, you know what I'm saying?
That's
And then yeah, he like shot some students. But yeah, I think like I don't even know, I can't just say like yeah, like have sex with these incels, but like it creates a violent like psychotic state of mind. I think like a lot of pent up frustration.
Does it create that, or is that stuff the byproduct of being psychotic?
Oh yeah, that's
chicken
probably
egg
true.
question.
Yeah. I mean, I think
a little bit of a chicken egg
it's
situation
definitely
going on.
self-imposed. Like, don't you think? Like, if you really wanted to,
if you're really fucked up in the head, dude, you can't control yourself, dude. Like, it's really not that hard to like meet people, even if you're like a freak. That sounds so awful.
Yeah,
that didn't sound right. Even if you're a troubled individual, I think it is possible to meet people. But I guess if you're like to a certain level of you, there's like a disconnect.
But I don't think all incels are psychos.
No,
like, I think
some are just people who are just really, really soft.
Dude,
I can't.
Well, it's partly being like the beta. Or whatever.
Do they say that they're beta?
They talk about it all the time.
Yeah, they say that they're betas, right?
Yeah,
I heard about this in a Jordan Peterson, and that they're being cucked by like the alphas, the chads, I'm not pulling this up.
Wait, pull up the picture. There's a picture. There's a photo of Chad. And it's like they're like God, but they also hate him. And that's also another horrible thing is self deprecation.
Oh my god. This is I can't. This is just too crazy. If you want to see it, just look up Chad incel meme. It's like it's two people. One is clearly the incel, the other is the Chad.
Dude, the main root of that stuff is self-deprecation, though. I feel like.
Yeah, it is self-deprecation. Like some of these things that they have attached to the chat are really interesting. Has figured out how to always look everyone in the eye at once at all times. Dude, I don't always look people in the eye. Like people struggle with that. Like that's a constant. Yeah, eye contact is a constant struggle.
It's very important.
For me, it's like really hard. Like I have trouble looking people in the eyes, but I just keep working at it.
It's an uphill battle.
Yeah, but I feel like looking at stuff like this and buying stuff into stuff like this is what makes you that. Like if you believe
grab
that
your
you're a
rope.
Chad, you can be you are a Chad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just self-belief.
That's honestly like one thing about like attractiveness is having self-confidence, you know?
Yeah.
Look at the bulge, dude.
Wears visually painful bright neon attire. This is super strange. Deeply strange.
Yeah, it's strange. But I also think like it can be a snowball. It can be a snowball.
Yeah,
Effect.
I feel like it creeps
Like,
up on you, and then
all of a
next thing you
sudden-
know, you're on like 4chan talking about themselves.
neck beards.
Yeah, dude.
Or like, but all of a sudden
Creeps
like
up
the
on you.
snowball, like you don't get laid for 1 month. You're like, okay, like
That was rough. I kinda
hopefully
suck.
like
I kinda
yeah,
suck.
like shit, like it's like I'm like back in there, and then all of a sudden it's like 2 months, and then 4 months, and then like it just keeps, and then you probably get lower and lower self confidence as that continues, unless you're like consciously avoiding sex.
Yeah, how many of them do you think?
Well, incels technically.
I would love
aren't.
to interview an incel. I would like to interview an incel. We were talking about who we'd like to interview earlier.
Riley's an
Did
incel.
you do this? John Jones failed his surgery.
No, he didn't. He didn't fail it. I read it. If you read the article, he
Come
didn't.
back positive for antibodies.
No, but he already. No, but that was what he already tested positive for before. It's a. I don't think that's a. They already came out and said it's not a big deal. Oh yeah, the John Jones thing. He came out that he was on steroids. Yeah, no shit. They already said that he had a long-lasting metabolite in it. Back home, who follows the UFC more closely than I do, he totally he's microdosing steroids.
He's doping.
He's microdosing.
Microdosing?
Yeah, that's what he thinks it is.
I'm microdosing.
No, you're just on full-blown steroids.
I'm not talking about steroids.
What else?
All right, moving on from incels.
Yeah.
What do you think of the no fap challenge?
It's impossible to achieve.
It's impossible.
Actually,
what are the supposed benefits?
From a medical standpoint, frequent
Riley
ejaculation
Cox
and
are in the
masturbation is actually like good for prostate health.
building. Sorry, what is?
Frequent masturbation or ejaculation is like very good for your prostate health in long term. So
Use it or lose it.
yeah, so basically,
you did say that earlier.
yes, it's not like medically speaking. Yes, they say that like when you're an adult, you should ejaculate at least like twice a month, just to
But
keep things.
keep
keep
the
the oil
oil
change.
but you
Keep the
can
oil
still
change.
have sex and not jerk off.
Yeah, but if you're fucking like a caveman, of course, then yeah, go for that.
Sex. You're gonna be fucking like a caveman.
But no, he's saying.
What are you saying?
No, I think he's saying.
Unless you're
off.
getting laid like every fucking weekend.
Oh, okay.
What are the supposed benefits of this NoFap?
Increased.
Stamina, tea,
Yeah.
like free available
testosterone.
tea.
That's probably true.
Also, I don't think mental clarity, but
There's no way. Dude, delusional.
just increased endurance.
But
throughout the day.
did you not
Probably
hear?
also productivity.
Did you not hear Mike Tyson push back?
Oh yeah,
Mike
about
Tyson-
jerking off before a
Fight,
fight.
yeah.
That's true.
No, Mike Tyson said
A lot of Olympians and stuff don't jerk it before.
Weak knees.
I don't know. Who knows, man? Different strokes for
Look at
different
that! Look at
folks.
that!
You know.
How am I doing that? It's amazing. Look.
When the water starts falling, you create a vacuum
I'm not
and it holds it in there.
qualified to answer.
That's why. You shut off all airflow from the bottom, and the water starts falling, and
Find
it just
your
creates a
jewels, man.
vacuum up top.
Yeah, but there's also I don't know, dude. I think like
I don't really buy
okay.
that.
Also, I think no fap probably increases your motivation to get laid because if you see like. If
Are you
s-
saying no? Like just
Yeah, but
just
I don't
fucking-
know, but
just
here's
fucking.
the
just
thing,
being
but I
like
think-
I'm only
No,
like,
for like
I will
for a
not-
month, the only time you can nut is if you're
Well, yeah, maybe you can
in or on
you
a.
do
on
it
a
in like short spans.
What if?
In
What
or
if
on?
you just
In
like
or
What
on?
if you're like not trying to get a bitch pregnant and you're not wrapped up, and you have to pull out. But like that last,
Wait, no, what is he saying?
the last few seconds before you nut, you have to like give it a few pumps like after you pull out. Is that technically breaking the challenge?
I would say no.
Definitely not.
That's technically.
But here's the question. Now you never know. Wait, no. But here's the question.
It might be onto a girl's stomach.
The real question. No, but the real question. But I would say no. The real question is, at how many strokes is it now considered jerking off? Is there a certain number of strokes?
Do you hear where I'm coming from?
I do think that
you're pulling out, and sometimes it
I
doesn't shoot right
actually
out.
Because where are you going to
Because
go?
then you're playing things too close. If you're pulling out and immediately nutting, you should have pulled out 5 seconds before that.
That's true.
That's true.
You're not wrong.
You're dangerously close.
You are in the
fucking
danger.
Shooting a missile straight into that girl's fucking
Dude.
What's
We're
that?
gonna get banned from YouTube.
What do we call that?
For what?
A fucking
Talking shit.
uterus.
For
That's what it
inciting
is,
the
shooting a
riot.
missile into the uterus.
But don't you think, like, if you somehow trained yourself to be like, I'm not going to jerk off, I'm only going
Well,
to
some
just
people
have
can just
sex.
come with just mental willpower.
I don't
Just
know.
no friction.
That would be epic, actually. If you could make yourself come like you could make yourself piss, that would be incredible.
Yeah, but we would literally die if we couldn't do it that easily.
Yeah,
We'd just literally stay in home all day long, just
No, because it wouldn't feel good, probably. I don't know.
I think it would feel good.
who's Mike? Be like Mike.
It was the gayest thing ever, dude. It was a fucking my teammate. He was completely fine. Michael Moriarty is like redhead Irish kid. He was like really good. He was really good at lacrosse. One of my really good friends. Like tore his ACL before our senior season.
So you
our coach
feel-
loved him so much. He put like we call him Irish Mike, and he put like the fucking be like Mike because he was like.
I thought you were gonna tell me the kid had cancer.
Yeah, no, everyone thinks it's like a total like cancer story or like
died
car
in a car
crash.
No, kid tore his
No,
ACL.
kid's completely fine. Tore his ACL.
That is honestly, that's fucked up,
Yeah.
dude. That's like kind of fucked
We
up.
used to have
That's almost disrespectful to the kid, the cancer child who could have been on your
because my
shit.
coach is like a ex-marine and like served like 3 tours, like badass. But
No one's gonna
he would
tell him no.
he'd always throw the fucking marine shield on this. We're like, this is stolen valor too. We're like, we can't fucking do this.
Stolen valor. Yeah, Jesus.
Oh, yo, I wanted to talk to you about New Year's resolutions.
Oh, interesting. I was having a conversation with somebody about New Year's resolutions yesterday.
What do you think?
Do
they work?
No, I don't.
Can they work?
I think they can only work when you accept that they are really just bullshit, and that the calendar year is just total bullshit.
Non-existent.
It's non-existent. So once you can accept those
The state
things,
of nature.
yeah, once you can accept those things, I think then it's possible to achieve when you have realistic expectations. I think. But I always just try and set like,
So part of it is setting realistic goals.
yeah, and for me, I just try and set like really less. I know a lot of people say specificity is really important with goals, and I think that's definitely true at times. But this year, I kind of just focused on setting like more general goals that I can just kind of check in on every now and then. And the first one was just like have more self confidence, like as I'm going through my life, because I just think that's important because I'm not always the best at having the most self confidence in like social settings. So that was my goal for the.
What do you think about setting like lofty goals that, in the pursuit of them, benefit other areas of your life? Like, for example, like my goal for this semester is to make a dean's list.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
a great
so,
goal. I mean, yeah.
like, so I don't know if like for Tish it works a little differently to where ours is compiled at the end of the full year.
Okay.
So it's fall
Not by
and spring
semester.
combined.
Oh, so it's a long-term goal, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, that's
But-
good.
I feel like setting goals like that like benefit you because in pursuit of that you're going to be sleeping better,
progress
you're going
yourself.
to be getting your shit done on time, you're going to do stuff like that, and it's going to influence how you live your day-to-day life in that meantime. So I always try and set
So like,
goals that that I know that in pursuit of that goal is actually going to have to force me to make a positive change.
It
and that's
seeps.
going to benefit
It seeps
everything
into
around
other
you.
forms
Yeah,
of life.
exactly.
Yeah. No, that's really smart. Setting a tangible goal like that will affect like other parts of your life.
Yeah, because I think setting goal, like going back to like, it's hard to just set a goal being, say you want to be more outgoing. Like it's hard to actually quantify. It's hard to quantify something like that. But if you could set a goal like, oh, I want to make like 10 new close friends this year, that in return makes you more outgoing.
Exactly.
So it's not about. That's what I think a lot of people struggle with when they make like a resolution or whatever. Is they set something like, oh, I want to be like the classic. I want to be skinny, or like I want to get skinny. This year,
you can't do that.
I want to get
Get
in shape. Well, how do you quantify get in shape? Instead of saying setting your goal is to get in shape, set your goal as, oh, I want to be able to run a 5.5 minute mile. Oh, I want to be able to deadlift 375 pounds, something like that, to where you're going to get into shape to achieve that goal, but you're not thinking, oh, I'm going to get in shape, because that's just I think that's a bad mentality. Your mentality, if you set something specific that you can go out and achieve, is only gonna, you know what I mean, is only gonna better you in the process to achieving that.
I'm actually like a really big believer. Like I actually have kind of an opinion on like the whole idea of like the idea of getting in shape as a New Year's goal too. I think that
probably the most common one.
Yeah, it's probably the most common one.
But
I think it's also just a really bad pursuit, because I think when people just say I want to get in shape, they train really hard with that in mind rather than enjoying the actual process of the training.
The journey.
And then once once they get to what they want, they slide back because they don't actually love the process. Like
that's why setting a quantified goal, like what I was saying, is that's why
he's
important.
No, but I'm saying once you achieve that goal, I think once you achieve that goal, that's why I think you have to find the physical. More important than getting in shape is finding the physical activity that you enjoy. Yeah,
the people that are truly in shape are just addicted to bettering themselves, to making themselves as best physically as best as they can possibly do.
Well, that's not exactly what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is, I think you, rather than seek getting in shape, I think people should seek finding the exercise
that they
style
enjoy
that they are addicted to from the first.
They'll continue to do it.
You're way more likely to continue something like that.
But in part of that, most people that set that goal are not your avid gym goers. They probably haven't been to a gym for a while.
Exactly.
So,
And they assume
but
that
the problem with that is that they're not going to be addicted to something, or they might not enjoy something the first time they do it. That's why I think it's necessary to set like actual attainable numbers, or like.
Yeah. I think a lot of people who go to the gym don't realize
things like that you can tangibly get.
I think a lot of people who go to the gym don't realize that the gym is not for them. Like, it's just not the most. Like, I know a lot of people who go to the gym and hate going to the gym, but they do it because they have to.
They can do prison workouts.
But I know. No, but
those are great workouts.
But more than that, like, they are great workouts. But if you're not enjoying them, I think it's impossible. If you're not enjoying the act of working out as you're doing it, you're just eventually not going to stick with it.
I think also like a gym can also be motivating to you because you see the people around you. You know what I mean? Or like the other day, I literally saw someone doing backflips, standing backflips in my gym, and I was like, "What the?
That's pretty hard out.
What the fuck am I doing?"
That's pretty hard.
So I think it can keep you going as well.
I also love. I mean, sometimes I get comedic relief when I go to the gym because you see all the fucking CrossFit people and they're like doing some weird shit. You're like, how is this possibly helping you? Like,
but I think,
bro, you're literally standing here doing backflips.
It's more flex.
What do you mean? How's that getting you in shape?
But here's the thing. Here's
a product of being.
I'm gonna go the other way. I think that CrossFit, to me, is way more sensible. It makes way more sense than someone who just goes to the gym.
No.
It makes infinitely more sense to me. I'll explain why.
CrossFit's terrible for
your
body.
I agree with that.
I
agree with that. But if your goal is to get in shape, I think if you have one person that joins a membership at just your standard gym and one that joins CrossFit, and you have to bet on who's going to get in shape.
Yeah,
I'm putting all the money on the CrossFit person.
But that goes back to what we were saying about the culture of the gym is how it can benefit you. Because
I don't-
CrossFit, you're working
working
it's a
out with
team.
people.
It's
Exactly.
like a crew.
Yeah,
And the
I
people
don't
that
think
really
the
excel at
gym
CrossFit
culture-
are the people that appreciate that group that they always work
Yeah,
out with, and like
community-oriented
if you notice like
exercise.
CrossFit gyms, like people will just like hang out there like 2 hours after their session, like just talking or like doing things like they make sense.
It's the same thing. It's the same.
That goes. But you can get that at a gym. Like,
No, but
in
I-
high,
well,
like in
it's
high
more
school,
sports.
I had it like
In
all
high
my
school,
friends would go. It would be like 5-6 people, and we'd do like workouts together or whatever, and like.
But I
it
feel
would,
like
we'd
it's
do like
less
circuits
common.
or whatever together. But that would be like when I would have my best workouts.
But I feel like that is less common to have that great culture in it.
Oh
gym.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
And I think that's
And
what
it
people are
typically-
looking
and it
for.
typically
I think that's what people are
comes-
missing out on.
That culture comes in 2 ways. There's two different types of gyms. There's like your Equinoxes, your Lifetimes that are like typically more like elitist, and there's like very few people like out of shape there, and those are motivating because you're just like kind of trying to like I don't know. Everyone's trying to put their best self forward, and that's why you're motivated because like. You're at a gym with all these other people that are kind of like in your boat or whatever. Everyone's trying to achieve like
be their best self.
be their best. And then there's gyms that are like just normal, like a fucking picture like a Midwest, just like
Or like
local gym.
Golds or
Yeah,
Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness, like something like that. Just like a local gym where it's like more like a family atmosphere. It's more like people are like there
And,
people are there to see you get better when other gyms are like.
And
People are there for themselves and are trying to like one up each other.
And in Planet Fitness, I think there's a wall or something. This is a judge-free zone.
Yeah. I mean that has had some problems over the years.
That's lame.
Yeah, I don't know.
I remember reading
personally-
a news story like 2 years ago when they put that rule in, and it was like man thrown out of Planet Fitness for grunting like on his last like rep. Because they have like a no grunt policy because like they think it makes people uncomfortable. I'm like, dude, like God forbid you accidentally grunt when trying to like put up one last rep on your fucking bench.
Yeah,
and you get kicked out of the gym. Like that's absurd.
absolutely. But yeah, dude, like back to what you're saying, like I go to the Equinox.
Yeah.
And I was thinking one day, like for a month or so when I got back from China, I was like exploiting my jet lag and waking up early.
Mhm.
And I went to the gym at like 6:15, expected it to be empty. It was
Oh,
packed.
it's packed.
It's packed, dude, because a lot of the people at the Equinox like
Stock trader.
go hard right before.
Well,
they
I
go
know
to
you
work.
got a Bond, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Bond
because I've
Street
been to
one.
Bond Street a few times, and that is like a fucking elitist gym. That is
Yeah.
just winners at that gym. You go,
Yeah.
yeah. If you go early morning, you get that crowd,
Yeah.
and then if you go, you get the same crowd at like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
when everyone gets off work. Like there's the people that either wake up, go to go to gym and then go to Wall Street, or the people that just wake up, go straight to Wall Street and go to the gym
Yeah.
after work. So you
And
catch
then the
those two
people in the middle of
crowds.
the day who have so much bank that
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Then there's the people they're like fucking like taking calls before like between reps, and they're like checking the fucking
on the
aftermarket trading and
on the
shit.
AirPods.
Yeah, everything seems, everyone's got AirPods, which I think AirPods fucking suck in my opinion.
Really? I've heard they're a really good product.
I
I've never had a pair.
my take is that I use like the Power Beats,
Oh yeah, the wireless power beats. Yeah.
and Apple owned Beats,
They do.
and the Beats are a better product, and they're both wireless. Like, why the fuck wouldn't I get those?
Well, the AirPods come with the iPhone now, right?
No.
no,
they don't?
No,
They still
there's
don't?
no way.
They still don't.
No, they still come with wireless.
I don't know. I mean, the power beats are more for working out, I think.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. People that I would have AirPods for my daily life because they look less fucking weird than having something around your ear. But I think it's become so common to have like the around ear, like the little clip-on ones or whatever. But they just when I try to work out in AirPods, like I've tried, and they just fucking fall out of my ear. Like,
Really?
They don't fit in very well. They're still like the rubber little like
grip.
tip on the earpiece, like that
Yeah.
squeezes into your ear and actually like holds there because the AirPods
Yeah.
don't have that.
I think a really cool technological component of the AirPods is the the charging case.
Oh yeah, genius.
That's insane.
That's
Like,
genius.
no company had that, I don't think, before.
But
Like,
then the fucking
Bose has gotta
the
step
power
up.
beats. I don't know how long the AirPods last. My power beats take like 30 minutes to charge, and they last you for 12 straight hours.
That's solid.
That's an interesting thing
Unparalleled.
that I just never think about.
What?
Like
Audio
workout headphones.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because
There's a big difference between what
Yeah.
you would want in your daily life and what you would want to work out.
yeah,
Well, I've actually, I don't know if this is like stupid, but my brother got me those wireless Bose headphones.
Those are the
big
circle
the
ones?
QC,
Oh, the big ones, like
Yeah,
the actual
like the
headphones.
300,
Yeah.
the expensive ones, and like I've been using those to work out.
Those are crazy.
Like I don't know if they're gonna deteriorate.
No,
but,
I doubt it.
I think like over-ear headphones are dope when working out because like you can focus on the music, like it increases the intensity.
And they're also
Just
just
zone out.
better.
They're better for your
Just
ears.
better sounding. Yeah, they
Yeah.
they fuck up your eardrum way less.
Yeah, they do.
They've got noise canceling feature in them. What are sick is the Bose, the equivalent of the Power Beats, the in-ear ones, the wireless ones, that are like the little
Sound
circles.
sound sports.
Those are so. I heard those once, and their sound quality is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because Beats balances. Why Beats became so popular is that if you think of
Branding.
anyone, no, not even that, is everyone's favorite part of music just to listen to. If they're like listening, everyone listens to their music loud in their headphones. Or whatever. Everyone's favorite part of that is the bass. Like everyone loves hearing the bass. So Beats, what they did was very genius. Is they just balanced their sound to make all their headphones from the beginning, like when they were making the studio beats, like very, very bass heavy.
Yeah.
So if you look like music producers, like audio engineers, film sound designers, sound supervisors, none of them use Beats. Like you would never see someone wearing it.
or you really wouldn't. You're
Like
right
there's
about that.
DJs that wear Beats, but
Yeah.
It's more
I
like a
can
status
guarantee
thing.
you
It's
the
more of a status
DJs
thing.
are not using. They're not using Beats to make like
It's very
to make
consumer.
their actual
It's
music.
a
Dr. Dre designed them too, which is funny.
Yeah, so because they're so heavily balanced towards the bass end that you're not actually hearing your sound
You're
clearly.
not
So
having during the song.
yeah, that's why I mean, if you calibrate sound perfectly on the most perfect speakers, sometimes it doesn't even sound good,
Yeah.
which is weird to say, but like
Yeah. Well, like a lot of artists actually
people
complain
will
about
make
recording.
different mixes
Yeah.
depending on where it's going
Yeah.
because of how places balance sound. Because like if you
Because like
say you have like I don't fucking know, like Yamaha like HS8s or like some crazy studio monitor that's like perfectly sound balanced and everything, and like you've got subwoofers and then tweeters and everything, like full studio setup, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
If you mix a song perfectly on that and then you play it on like Beats or like a shitty like little fucking USB or Bluetooth speaker, like it's probably not even gonna sound good because what you balance for those speakers to handle and like the little nuances in the sound you don't even pick up. So people will just compress the shit out of it when they put like send it away.
Compress that MP3, yeah. And what a lot of artists have been doing now is they've actually been recording and like mixing and mastering on like shitty equipment because they know that if it does blow up or like someone's gonna be listening to it
all
on
these
their
SoundCloud
laptop
guys,
and their radio
Exactly.
maybe, like so they have to make sure the song sounds proper on those like
Yeah,
types
it's
of
actually interesting because the files that these guys play are like AIFF or like some or like a very, very big file format.
Yeah.
When they're like playing a live set, like that'll be
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
USB. They
It's
plug
like a-
into
it's
the,
like a
to the
25
decks. Yeah,
megabyte
it'll be a
song.
fucking huge file.
Yeah.
And that's like the literal like uncompressed, bumped from Ableton or Logic or whatever, with whatever that direct bump is. That's what they put on. That's what they load up on the decks to play because those speakers are good enough to handle it. But like what they end up mastering for distribution is just nothing like that because they have to make it kind of flat. You have to make the sound flatter for it to sound good on shittier speakers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that there are people out there that are smart enough to know how to do that shit. I don't know what else I would do. I'd be ashamed. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
down.
good one. All right.
Happy birthday to the twins.
Who are the twins?
I'll get it.
All right, that's subliminal.
Shouts,
Wait, yo, what are you reading?
shout out
Oh
Yusuf.
yeah. Let's talk about that.
One
real
second.
quick.
Oh,
One second.
I'm reading a good book.
All right, let's get into it, man.
Okay, what are you reading?
I'm actually reading Beautiful Boy right now.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
The original book. Should have read it before I saw the film.
Yeah.
It's a rookie move. Still good.
Have you guys read any books and watched the film and then was like, wow, that was a good adaptation? Because I know everyone.
Very, very few.
Yeah. Because I've only done that once with The Revenant, and I hated The Revenant.
I thought
Completely different.
Moneyball was pretty fucking good.
Didn't read Moneyball. I like the movie though.
Did you read The Big Short?
I read The Big Short. The Big Short, the book is just amazing. Michael Lewis wrote Moneyball and The Big Short.
Not a lot of books I've read have been made into movies that I can think of.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not a lot. I think I know what you're looking at.
How torqued.
Yeah. I'll just wait for Logan to get back.
Know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying? I'm saying?
How deep are you into Beautiful Boy?
Like 3/4 of the way through it.
So it's about a young boy addicted to drugs. Right?
Yeah. Basically, and it's his relationship with his father and stuff. I mean, the book's very good. You could definitely get away with just watching the movie and you still understand the whole story. I think Steve Carell does a great job. Lucas Hedges is really good in it. But I actually it's funny because I end up reading all my books from my dad. He'll just my dad's huge. My dad's one of the smartest people I know, and he just fucking reads constantly. Travels a lot for business. And he'll just have a flight to Europe, and he'll finish a whole book there and a whole book on the way back, and he'll just have them out, and every time I'm home, he's like, "Oh, you read this?" I'm like, "No." He'll tell me a little bit about it, and then if I want, I'll just take it. Just all right, take it, read it, or whatever. But I think that's pretty cool. Because I've read a lot of really good books. I read American Sniper right when the book came out. And, I knew about Chris Kyle, but not.
Who wrote that anyway?
It was co-authored between Chris Kyle and another guy. American Sniper.
Yeah.
Co-authored?
Yeah, Chris Kyle was still alive. He was still alive when the book came out.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so
It was way before the movie.
the book came out. He did a whole publicity tour on all the late night
that
shows.
book
and
was
everything.
already
Oh
out.
yeah, the book came out in
and then
2012, 2013. The movie
That's
came out in
crazy.
2016.
What are you reading?
I just finished Tools of the Titans.
Oh,
By
Tim
Tim
Ferriss.
Ferriss.
Read the whole thing.
Yeah,
Read
awesome.
Tim Ferriss.
What
Yeah.
about did you read Kiyosaki? You finished that one off?
Oh yeah. I enjoyed that.
My lawyer friend.
How was the Kiyosaki?
Kiyosaki was good, man.
Did you get learned from it? Did you learn a lot?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think the biggest, one of the biggest takeaways is just understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. And it sounds really simple, but common folk, I don't think they really do it enough. Actually take out a piece of paper and say, what are my assets? What are my liabilities? What are some things such as my house that I think are assets, but they're actually liabilities, you know?
That's really interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, Tools of the Titans I highly recommend. It's pretty good. It's a long book, but it's easy to read.
Yeah, I like books like that, where you just get lost in it.
Or if you're trying to form or figure out a way to structure your life and figure out regimens, because they're actually actionable items in there. I would say that's
That's my
manual,
favorite.
the guidebook to really doing that.
My favorite types of books are the ones where you just sit down and start reading, and before you know it, you're 60 pages in,
You're deep.
but you've only been reading for like 25, 30 minutes. Like that's when I know like I'm gonna really enjoy a book. When like that first time I pick it up, I just get lost in it.
Yeah.
And I haven't had that in a while. I think the last time that happened was like when I read Liar's Poker by Michael Lewis. That's a really good
I haven't
book.
read that one yet. But
Really good.
yeah, dude, I'm definitely ready though to like read some fiction or like an autobiography or something like because
maybe
like I read a lot of like
stuff. Graphic novels.
Dude, I mean I've read
You read
I've read Full Metal Alchemist.
And you read Watchmen?
Some of it.
Oh, Full Metal Alchemist.
But I've read some manga.
You need to read Watchmen.
But yeah, like, cause I'm kind of like, I don't want to read any more fucking like
nonfiction.
How to not procrastinate.
No,
because
there's
like,
there's also good nonfiction like stories. Like, that's what I
that's the
enjoy
thing.
reading.
Yeah, like
yeah, you gotta just get
autobiographies
fucking.
really.
That's the best part about books, I think, is just reading these stories that you just never fucking hear about, and like someone wrote an entire 300-page novel on it, and you're like, how the hell? Like, this is incredible.
Yeah. I want to read.
And it's so random. It's not something you don't give a fuck about usually, and then it just turns out you're like, damn, I didn't have any interest in this subject, but now I think it's cool. So,
yeah,
like, it really opens your eyes.
I want to read Walter Isaacson's An American Life, which is about Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah,
it's a pretty deep one. I also want to read Dune.
Dune's long.
Yeah, but I have to work on my fucking thesis. So like I'm trying to not read because like I actually read Tools of the Titans.
Brother,
in like a month.
Book this right there.
Dude, I literally read it in a month because I was almost like procrastinating productively. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Instead of working on this thesis, I could just read. And like reading's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's good for you. So.
Yeah. So the last book I read, this is the book I'm reading right now. The last book that I read was Lake Success. It's by a guy named Gary Steingart, who I actually one time bumped into on the street of New York.
You suck his god?
No, but I did tell him I enjoyed his first book, which is called Super Sad True Love Story, which got him named on the 20 Under 40, which is the 20 best writers under the age of 40, as decided by the editors of the New Yorker magazine.
Okay.
So it's a pretty huge honor. They've only done that twice ever in the magazine's history. Have they listed at 20 under 40? So to be on it is like about as big as huge. It's a huge accomplishment. For like I think he was like 38 at the time. So this was his. He wrote a memoir and then he wrote this book. I was really excited to read it because I love. He's like I think he's a satirist like by trade. He makes satire. And this book, like the synopsis is, it's a travel book in the vein of like On the Road by Jack Kerouac. Basically, the main character, this guy named Barry, spoiler alert, gets into a fight with his wife. That's all you know at the start, and he has decided to flee west in search of his college girlfriend, who I think his name is Lila or Layla.
And how far out of college is he?
A long time, like 10 years plus, 10, if not more. He's a hugely successful hedge fund manager, but as the book goes on, you realize that he's actually gotten in a lot of trouble as a hedge fund manager. He's done some questionable things legally. You find out that the fight that he had with his wife was over the fact that his son, in all likelihood, has autism. So it's a great premise for the book, and he's like an incredibly talented writer. But the book really falls apart, especially towards the end. The ending is really, really poorly constructed. Like all the writing is good, and that was what was really frustrating about it. It's really enjoyable to read, but the construction of it, the way it moves from event to event, the way it tries to convey its message, I think is really.
It doesn't just like it doesn't lay it out there for you, right?
No, it tries to be literary fiction, which is it tries to have complexity and nuance, but it's improper with that. So it ends up having a lot of half-said statements where, for example, a part of the book is the ongoing Trump election in the background, as depicted by wealthy liberal hedge fund managers juxtaposed to middle America Trump supporters that Barry meets on the bus.
Are you talking about his re-election or?
His election, the first election. It's set.
The re-election already happened, but
it ends up basically saying nothing new about our political state, which is other than it's fucked. Things are really intense, which I just was totally unimpressed by. Yeah. There's a scene where the main character does crack and then sucks a dude's dick out of nowhere. Like no, I'm dead serious. I couldn't
Is this
believe
the
it.
Fire
as I was
Festival
reading it.
documentary?
I could not
You seen
believe
that?
it. I couldn't believe it as I
I'm
was
gonna tell
reading
you
it.
about that next.
No, the founder of Matt Projects was in that.
Yeah.
The company I worked
You
for
know
last
it's
semester.
wild.
Is that like the Unjerry guy?
No, Brett. He was one of the partners in Matt. Dude, Matt shot the like viral promo video.
Yeah, yeah,
for You know the one with
Yeah,
the
no, I know.
Yeah, you know.
That's the company. I remember that.
Yeah.
That, he was at the real Fire Festival, you mean?
Yeah, he said there were two
so-
files.
Just
The video and
the guy willing to suck cock. Well,
To get the water.
first off,
wait. I want
what's his name? What's his name? Billy.
discussion though before we.
Oh yeah.
No, it was mostly wrapped. 1 second.
Billy.
But yeah, the book got like a ton of praise, and I was pretty disappointed to see that. Like not because I don't
Rave
like the guy.
reviews?
It was like a notable book by the New York Times, NPR, and like a couple other like.
He's got some hype right now.
Yeah,
He's
so
a writer, so.
I'm happy to see him successful and get great reviews, but at the same time, I feel like to a degree those reviews were given to him. It's such a subjective media that I feel like some of those reviews are based on how good his last book was.
Yeah.
I
Just
just
the
I don't
reputation he
think
has
that his more recent book compared.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a book that I'm reading now.
How do you pronounce that?
The Largesse of the Sea Maiden, which basically means the kindness of the Sea Maiden, which is the first story in Dennis Johnson's new book. Dennis Johnson is probably the second most important American writer
Raymond Carver #1.
since Carver. He's definitely the most important since Carver. He's easily the big three of American short story writing: Carver, Hemingway, and Dennis Johnson. He taught at University of Texas.
It's a flashback from driving to high school one day.
Oh my god. Anyway, his first book of short stories is called Jesus' Son, which is basically a book about heroin and like
All the
extreme
short stories?
violence, a large number of them, violence and drug addiction and overdosing and being poor. And it's a
That sounds
deeply
bleak.
disturbed book, but it's amazing. It's incredibly
Does that
well written.
reflect his experience?
Yeah. So that was written, I think, when he was about 35, and he had just gotten sober. He was a heroin addict. This book is essentially taken a lot of the same character archetypes, because none of the characters really have names in the stories, and modernized them. And this book, like the only way I can recommend it is there's this section in the first story, which is basically a bunch of epitaphs of an aging man. I like to write in bookmarks,
Yeah.
But anyway,
I take notes.
there's a scene in the first story where a guy is on the phone with his ex-wife, who is telling them that she is dying of cancer and that she's going to die, and he's apologizing for all these horrible
things
he
done
did to
his
her.
wife. Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's sitting on this kitchen crying and apologizing to his wife, and he realizes he can't remember which ex-wife this is. So he goes, okay, you know what I'm going to do? While we're having this conversation, I'm going to check which contact it is on the phone. And he pulls up the contact, and the contact name is Jimmy. And he realizes that at different points in each of his relationships with both of his ex-wife, he had called them each Jimmy at some point.
Oh man.
And then he starts thinking, well, I'll know because of what I apologized for. And he realizes that he had done the exact same thing to both of them. So there's no way for him to be able to know without asking her which ex-wife he's talking to. But then he
Does this dude
realizes,
have Alzheimer's or something?
no, he just can't remember. He's
just
an
a
older
dickhead.
man. He's like 70, 80 plus.
Uh-huh.
And he then also realizes that it doesn't matter at all because she doesn't know, because he did like the same things to both of them,
yeah.
and she'll never be able to tell until he gets off the phone. And I was just when I read that, I was like, "Fuck, that's some dark shit." But anyway,
That's deep, man.
going on to the Fire documentary that Riley wanted to talk about.
Okay.
That is
First and foremost, Billy McFarland, proud alumni of Del Barton High School, my former high school.
Really?
Your alma mater.
Does not fucking surprise me. That is the epitome of something a Delby kid would do. I don't know if you guys know about Del Barton. I went there for a year, probably worst year of my life. Fucking
What grade?
freshman year of high
Freshman
school,
year.
I went there strictly
man.
to play lacrosse. Realized I didn't want to play lacrosse anymore, and I left.
A turbulent year.
It's just full of the most fucking elitist, loser kids you could ever meet. They're loser parents. It's pretty fucking funny, so it doesn't surprise me. So, 2 of the 4 kids actually alleged in the Duke rape case, lacrosse rape case, which they were clear. They were found to be false and everything. But they did go to Del Barton, so.
What you're saying?
We're always in controversy.
They still then did hire strippers.
Yep. But anyway, he went there.
Gentlemen of
That's
quality.
just a little it's just a little background story about Del Barton, where Billy grew up. But man, that guy was literally willing to suck cock.
I think the word that they used was operational psychopath.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah,
that guy's a freak. But yeah,
dude,
that
I
fucking
think,
The documentary's crazy.
that guy fucking thinks the world of Billy. That guy, the older gay man.
Oh yeah,
like literally.
I feel bad for that guy.
That guy would fucking.
I can't.
He would sell his. He would donate his kidney if
to get it off the ground.
Yeah, Billy.
But dude, that's the thing. Like, you also have it's very clear that Billy is smart. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do the things he's done without having that.
Oh, he's a genius entrepreneur.
He's a great con.
Yeah,
excellent. You can't be a stupid con man. I think he's
in the vein of Donald J. Trump, if I do say so myself.
I think he'll cook
Wait,
up
what
some
was his name
scenes
again?
when he gets out.
What's
Billy
his name?
McFarland, I think.
When am I gonna see ads for McFarland University?
Man, I wouldn't be surprised, bro.
Wait,
no, the island.
This is Sean McVay versus Julian Edelman.
I saw that earlier.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
The Island.
Oh yeah, dude. I actually thought the Island was pretty sick.
The original one.
The first
Pablo Escobar's Island.
Yeah, but then
fucking
dude, they went to Great Exuma. Like Great Exuma is literally like the most other than Freeport, it's like the most touristy location in the Bahamas. Like,
well, clearly.
No, but that's where they went to.
They had no infrastructure though.
Great Exuma did. Where they held the
they
festival,
did.
in Great
Exuma
Exuma.
ended up trying to have the festival.
Yeah, was it?
It was not even on a real.
No, it's
tiny
Great
island.
Exuma.
They had photoshopped half the island out of the picture, so it looked like a tiny island, but it was really just
No, you're wrong. The first island that they shot all the stuff with was
not the picture.
Picture. Yeah, Great Exuma is just a touristy island.
So what do you think would have made?
And the reason it looked so fucked up and everything is because where they held it was it was a land development site. So it's all cleared as land lots for people to build houses, and there's like a man-made lake in the middle or whatever. Like that's why they were trying to hold it there. But yeah,
so what do you think? What could have made the festival work? Do you
Having
think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a good idea in general?
If Golden Voice did it, so Golden Voice are the people behind Coachella.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they could pull it off.
Dude,
the original plan. Think of the original plan. You're on a literal island that has no permanent inhabitants. The original one.
Yeah.
You have no electricity. You have no sewage system.
Yeah.
You're about to have 12,000 people there.
12,000
people there at a luxury festival where people expect air-conditioned tents. They expect fucking.
These are the richest people in the world.
Yeah, they expect everything being waited on hand and foot for a week or a weekend. And from the beginning, you're not going to be able to provide that. Because if it's in Miami, yeah, you can provide that. If it's on the beach in Mexico somewhere, you could probably provide that. But you're on a fucking Caribbean island that has no infrastructure. You're never going to be able to provide that.
I don't know. I think it's possible to execute, but I don't think it's possible to make it profitable.
No. Oh, they could if they had an unlimited budget. Yeah, they could have done it, but that would just defeat the purpose. You know what I mean? If you had an unlimited budget, you could do anything on Earth.
Well, I mean, I think it depends on what you were using the festival for. The Fire Festival isn't even it's for fire. It's not. It's a launch party.
But
you know what I mean?
Basically, here's the thing with that is that.
You could do.
Yeah, their budget. The budget would have crippled the company that they needed to do that festival properly.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dan Bilzerian, for example, he throws those Ignite, Ignite launch party he had, which was insane. Probably spent so much money, but he was looking at the long-term goal of promoting his new CBD company.
What was I going to say? And the app just got totally screwed, and apparently it was a good idea.
Oh yeah, we could have fucking booked people.
premium booking service,
We
right?
could have just booked people through this app for shit. You could have booked like a SoundCloud rapper.
You know, there's a
Could have got flipped an arrow. We already did.
we saw him, but Cielo's closed, by the way.
Yeah. Thank
It's
God.
done.
That place is a shithole.
Thank God.
That might be that place is the
You know what
the laughing
surprised
stock
me,
in the
though?
meatpacking district.
why was there so much hype around that place? Like not within our group.
Why
of
was there
friends,
hype?
But in New York City, like a lot of people are always like,
all right,
"Oh, I want to see
I
the
don't
DJ
think
at Cielo."
Cielo was necessary. Years ago, it used to get like cool DJs apparently, but I don't think they've been doing that for a while. But recently, I think the hype was just primarily NYU, and then through that, they always let like underage kids in, so it's always going to be like it's a meatpacking club. People can
That's
say
probably why it got closed down in the first place.
people could say they're going to a meatpacking club, but realistically, it's Cielo.
they're
It's not,
prioritizing
it's not
it.
Up and Down. It's not One Oak for sure.
Dollar.
It's not Tao
Riley, give me your top 5
clubs.
Pound for pound.
club rankings.
In
I want
square
it.
foot
I
for
want it.
square foot. In New York City or in the world?
In New York City.
In New York City.
I feel like you're probably well versed.
number one is One Oak.
Is this his what's
One
that
Oak.
segment on SNL that they used to have with Bill Hader as the
The weekend report.
during Weekend Report, that character would slide in that Bill Hader played, and he was like super, he was like really gay and like.
The fashion one he did with Jimmy Fallon.
No. When he would tell you what's going on, what the new cool club
like the
is.
news. Oh, the club.
Yeah, we have to
That
look
sounds
at it.
I don't know.
But anyway, I
Top-
want your serious.
One
like,
Oak is just number one. That's just the best club. I've been going more recently to Vandal. Vandal's really fun.
Really?
It's owned by-
Vandal?
It's owned by Tao Group.
that's in the LES.
Yeah,
right? Like
so-
Stefan.
Yeah.
Wait, you got the.
But Vandal's got a sick scene. And like I was at Vandal a few weeks ago. Evan Engram was there. I know. He started this guy with Jimmy when Jimmy.
I love those.
Okay,
songs.
so you said
Oak
you've
is
been
number
going
one.
to Vandal. a lot.
Vandal I've been going to a lot recently.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. That
Vandal
place from
is
the outside looks
You ever been
pretty.
there?
It looks pretty like grimy.
Yeah, because
On
the
the
club
outside.
is all downstairs.
Really.
And there's a restaurant on top. It's a really good restaurant. So, I've done like the restaurant.
Do a lot of
then I go down to
NYU
the
kids
club.
go there?
Not really. But like the last time I was there, Evan Engram from the New York Giants.
Oh,
I
nice.
bumped into him. Literally bumped into him.
Nice, dude.
So like they attract. It's just a cool scene there, dude. It's so like
What kind of people? Like young
it's
LES?
no. It's similar to
Older?
Meatpacking District, but
Okay.
you don't get all like the fucking like jackasses.
The
I
scum?
guess. Like, let me put it this way: the guy we know who works for Tao, who's like the general manager of Tao New York, who like sets everything up for us. He prefers that club.
Really?
That just goes to show, you know what I mean? Because they own PhD.
And he has a
they
lot
own
of
Tao,
options.
Yeah, they has like Vandal is a cool scene. It's just like it's the only club where you can go and just hang out at the bar and not feel like weird. Like there's a sick bar,
Oh,
a huge
like you don't
bar
have
in
to
it,
spend
but it's
like
like a
a-
legit club.
Like, you don't
Yeah,
need
but
to
there's
spend
tables
tons
everywhere.
of money. What's the price?
I mean, drinks are expensive as fucking bar. It's
Yeah.
like $20 a drink,
Okay.
which is like normal at those clubs.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I'd say Oak that. Oak number one. Vandal, I'd say number two.
Wow, Vandal number 2.
Yeah, I fucking love Vandal.
Okay.
3. If it's really fun, PhD can be fucking epic. If it's a good night, PhD can be really, really fun.
I've been to the downstairs of PhD.
Yeah,
but
upstairs at
only-
PhD is
I've only-
really fun.
Did you say up and down?
Up and down
I've
just
never
like
been.
always like decent. Depends on the night, but it can be fun.
lot of
it can be
young
shitty.
Kids go, like underage kids
Yeah,
go there,
up and
right?
down's kind of like second class. I haven't been to the Red Rabbit, which is what Gilded
Oh,
Lily
that's brand
used to
new.
be. Well,
Yeah,
Gilded
you
Lily's
might-
just rebranded.
My promoter used to hit me up about that.
Yeah,
all the
Gilded
time.
Lily was sick. I haven't been to Red Rabbit, so I can't speak to that. Tao can be really fun, the actual club. But
Getting me excited, man. I
yeah,
want to go to a club.
I don't know. Oak is definitely number one, New York. There's no question about it. You can walk in there
Dude,
and
it's
there'll be 5
crazy to
Victoria's
me.
Secret models sitting next to you or NBA players. Like it's just where everything's happening.
It's
in
crazy
New
to
York.
me how it's been able to stay so dominant for so long. Like usually clubs
Go out of
like
style.
Vandal for example, like maybe like 5 years ago, you wouldn't want to fucking go there. But then, things change.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I agree. I think, well,
Why do you think One Oak has been
all
able
right, so
to
the
sustain
problem
and,
with,
like,
here's speaking to this point, the problem with New York City of nightlife is you looked like 2010, which I think was like its real, like, obviously I wasn't hanging out, but like the pinnacle of New York life. Nightlife.
How do you decide that?
No,
the
because
pinnacle
Yeah, what the
2010?
fuck?
no,
are you
like what
talking
clubs
about?
were like open back then,
Okay.
like stories I've heard. No, like there's this club called Greenhouse, and upstairs was called WIP, W.I.P, and it stood for Work in Progress, and that was like the fucking Kardashians would be there, Chris Brown would be there, Drake would be there, like any given night. That and all the clubs were like West Village, like on the border of Tribeca, like on
Interesting.
they're on like Varick Street. Most of them are on
Really?
Varick. You know where Paul's Casablanca is? Have you ever been to Paul's Casablanca? You know Paul's Baby Grand?
Yes.
They have the other place called Paul's Casablanca, which is more of like a speakeasy chill
Okay.
place. It's over there.
Have you been to Paul's Baby Grand?
Yeah, Paul's
What's
is
your- what do
fun.
you
It's
think?
pretty fun.
Looks pretty cool down there.
Paul's Casablanca is fucking sick. It's like the outside of it says McGovern's Irish Pub on the sign. It's like this old ass pub sign, but it's not an Irish pub. You walk in, it's just like small speakeasy. It's like it's very similar to Blind Barber in the layout of it.
Okay.
Yeah, all the clubs used to be over there, and back then it was like the problem now is it's so commercialized. That's what I'm getting to. Like those clubs used to be like just that club, and like now it's like either Tau Group or One Oak.
Or
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
it called? The Butter Group?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
but One Oak has its own club group. Tau is Tau Group.
That's Butter, I think. Or whatever. It doesn't
I
matter.
don't. Yeah, whatever. They own. So Tau owns Tau, PhD, Lavo, Vandal. They own like 7 of the best clubs. One of them owns Up and Down. Tau might own Up and Down, or One Oak might own Up and Down. But anyway, One Oak owns like Avenue. Oh yeah, I forgot Avenue on that list. Avenue's a really fun club.
Dude, I went there once after Pi-Fi day party. It's the only time I've been there. Pretty fun.
Yeah, Avenue's
Sophomore
cool.
year.
I'm not a big club guy.
Way
Not my
back.
scene.
But yeah. So the problem is now it's so commercialized that all these clubs are the fucking same, and they just like the same people go just bounce between the three. Like once you get like a connection within them, like most people usually go through someone they know by just going there or whatever, and they'll just hit up like because most people that go there are paying for tables
Yeah.
frequently. Those clubs aren't very
You
conducive.
gotta go to China.
They're not very
bro.
conducive to like promoters at those top clubs because like they do something called image promoting instead of like promoting to get heads in the door because they don't need that. So they'll like promoters will get like extremely hot girls, but they won't get guys in or anything.
So they don't make money?
Yeah, so just to have like because they already have people buying the tables, guys, so they're just trying to fill up with girls. So they're like promoting image to make it look like this like hot girls, rich guys like
Yeah.
meeting together. So like
So that's a
Meeting of the minds.
so that's like
so
what
that's
all these
problematic.
fucking well, that's what all these clubs are now. And it's the same exact people because they just bounce them between club to club, and it's just like it gets super stale. Like back in the day, they used to have like interesting shit. Like Whip was like the craziest club. Like that's where remember when Drake and Chris Brown got in like a crazy fight over Rihanna in like 2010 or 2011. They like shattered bottles on each other and shit. They were like chucking bottles at each other. A huge thing.
That's what Rihanna will do to you.
Like that happened at Whip. Like all these crazy shit. Like that's why I got closed down because there's so many fucking high profile incidents there. But that club was supposedly like the craziest club ever.
Wow.
But now it's just like everything looks the same. Like if you go, like I was in Miami.
Everything is ruined.
I was at Miami.
It's all fucked,
I was at
Logan.
this club
It
called.
used to be better.
I was at this
Now
club
it's
called
fucked.
Rockwell in Miami, which is literally like what if you just transplanted One Oak, New York to Miami and just made it like adjust a little to Miami culture. That's what it is. So it's the same thing.
Yeah,
All
here's
these major
Liv.
clubs are
Liv
the
is
same.
also
Yeah,
really nice,
they're-
right?
Lip
Dude,
is like
like-
Lip is almost like Marquee.
Where
think,
would the Jersey Shore people go
I think
when they were in Miami?
Brooklyn,
I have no idea.
Brooklyn and in Chinatown, I think, are where you should go if
Yeah,
you're looking to
Brooklyn's
have
got
like,
some sick fucking scenes.
like a
dude.
cheap, relatively cheap, like interesting
Night.
crowd. Yeah, dude, you know there's this dim sum place. It's called China Chalet, and you don't really know when they're gonna like have parties, but people just rent out the restaurant like after hours,
Yeah.
and it turns into like a DJ set, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. We need to make New York nightlife fun again.
I saw James Blake DJ.
Yeah. Did you go with
Keith.
Keith? Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
fun. I
dude,
was
during
fucking-
finals
I
week,
should have
we
fucking
went,
gone to
dude,
that.
and he played some of the songs off his new album,
Oh, that's
like
fire.
2 months ago. His new album, which is very good. Highly recommend if you're looking for new music.
Did you listen to Vampire Weekend today? Their new music.
Oh, it just came out. I haven't listened to it yet.
Good.
Dude.
It's good.
I'm hyped.
I liked it. All
I
right.
love Vampire Weekend.
Here, wrap it
Anyway,
up.
let's wrap it up.
All right. Till next time. Thanks for coming, Logan.
Build the wall.
It's been a pleasure. I'll be back.